I have something pretty interesting here. A signed check from James Madison while he was president, 1814.
Cool. Pretty cool guy. One of the most famous first ladies, you know, Dolly Madison. No other president had cookies named after his wife.
I picked up the check by James Madison at auction in about 1996. I've been collecting memorabilia for probably over 35 years. I'd like to get $5,000. If I end up selling the check, I would like to use it on my new grandchildren.
Had a hell of a career. I mean, he was only like 24, 25 years old when he was a member of the Continental Congress. He was one of the main guys that pushed the Constitution through. You know, author of a large part of the Federalist Papers, Secretary of State under Jefferson, got us through the War of 1812. That's the second time we beat the British. Really, really super important guy in American history, and most people don't hear about him. So you have a check written to John
Bales
Bales
for $13.
for 13 bucks, which was a lot of money back then, considering, like, if you're a decent tradesman, you might get $5 a week.
The guy who wrote it to, I looked him up, and he was a colonel.
This is 1814. I mean, if he wrote it to a colonel, it was probably, most likely, something to do with the Army. Probably paying for supplies or something like that. So how much you want for it?
I'd like $5,000.
Okay. Where'd you get this?
I bought it from a worldwide auction, about 2000.
All right. It was not uncommon at all back then to have secretaries sign everything for you. Let me have someone take a look at it, make sure everything checks out, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back.
Madison basically did everything for the founding of the United States. Renaissance man, he was Secretary of State to Jefferson, and then he became president in 1808. I mean, he pretty much did everything. James Madison was a big part of the United States, its formation, the government. He's a former lawyer and a really brilliant man. Really, one of the reasons why government runs now like it does was because of James Madison. What are your concerns?
It's really, really cool, but I just don't know if he signed it or if he had a secretary sign it. And what's it worth?
Was there people signing for people back then? Sure. Was it widespread? Not really. So, you know, the chances are a secretary signed it, they're pretty slim. So I just want to take a look at it, obviously. Okay. The first thing I want to do is use the pro scope and just kind of look at the ink and see what kind of idea we get here. It's hard under glass, but I'm starting to get a pretty good feel for it just right away here. You know, what's interesting about this, when you look at this, you see the cracking and fading a little bit, but it stayed on there pretty good, you know? I mean, the ink they used was pretty good back then. You know, it's better than what they use now, the ballpoint pens and stuff, so there's no question about that being live ink. Now, I've seen a lot of these checks through the years. I like his autograph because it's pretty basic. It's a very simple James Madison with a right tilt to it. You could typically read every letter of his signature and to see the same thing here, right in here, that I'm looking at the same thing here. So the ink's fine, no problem there.
Okay. All right, cool. So what do you think it's worth?
Now, I've seen a lot of these checks through the years. Are they common? I don't know if I'd call them common, but they're kind of in that middle range, Rick, where it's like they're out there, but they're desirable because people, what they do, and you know this, people collect signatures of presidents, and especially on checks. Are pretty cool to have and make a collection out of them. Based on what I see these go for in the marketplace, these roughly fall at about $2,000.
Thanks, dude.
Yep, good to see you. Yep.
Good seeing you, Steve.
Good luck. Yep, take care. The collector's market for presidential autographs is pretty solid, especially with the guys who were our founding fathers. James Madison, you know, he's someone we look back on with great respect. It's always a neat thing to have, and definitely a nice thing to hang in your house.
It's a great piece of history. It really is. I'll give you $1,000 for it.
No.
Hey, what's your best price? I mean...
I wanted 5. He valued it at 2. I've never seen a James Madison signature so clear and so bright. I mean, it looks like it was signed yesterday. That's the value of it. It's beautiful. I'd take a 15 would be reasonable for me.
Yeah, I'd go $1,200. It's the most I could go. I mean, in the end, I just have to make money off it.
13. 13. 13. You want it.
$1,200.
I'll take it.
Sweet. Go right over there, and I'll write you up.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good. I'm very happy I made a deal today. I was able to cash in a $13 check for $1,200. I'm good.
Wow. This thing is nice.
This is a cast me out.
This is like one of the holy grails of American coins.
I'll do 95, and that's it.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to take it home.